I'm super excited. My name is Jack Bosch, and as always, I'm going to be your host. And today we don't have a co-host, so this is just you gotta listen to Uncle Jack today. Ho ho ho! And the elf stayed over there too. I forgot to ask it to come over here, so there's a virtual elf here. Me. And anyway, so hey, hope you guys are doing well. I see David there. I see WWJco. Okay, good to see you there. And I see David there. I see Timmy. I see Cass. I see Ruby. Good to see you there. All right. So, guys, everyone else does not have the cameras on, which is okay. So, either way, guys, I am excited to come to you today with the last gift of Christmas. And today's subject is cash at your fingertips with creative deal structuring. I have my second screen over there. I have some kind of cheat sheet with some notes. And let's go. So again, cash at your fingertips with creative deal strategy. So today we're going to talk about different ways that you can take deals and make even more money with it. But before I go into that, I want to remind you guys all of the following. First of all, this is not a get-rich-quick program. You guys understand that, right? This is a solid, repeatable, scalable, predictable, and profitable real estate method that, if diligently applied, can get you to tremendous profits. But it's a business that you need to implement. The beauty about this business is that it's simpler than house flipping. So if you ever wanted to get into real estate, again, give me a heck yes. Who would love to get into real estate? Who is already? I got a flamethrower. That's true. I got a flamethrower here somewhere. David Van gave me a flamethrower. I do have that thing. So what I wanted to say is that there's something about doing sessions in this year, which is my office, that makes me cough. I don't know why. All right, so let me drink some water. Okay, let's go again. Well, then again, 8 days of speaking for an hour and a half every day is also quite a bit. So with that said, what I want to say, if you want to get into real estate, you have many choices. All right, let's talk about different choices. You can get into the Airbnb business, which basically means you're running a one-room hotel, right? With everything that comes with it, like with having to have black lap napkins or black towels for makeup and white towels for thing and little soaps and little thing. If you properly run an Airbnb, it's not running your spare room. It's like running a hotel. I don't know about you, but I don't want to run a hotel. I don't want to be dealing with all these different things left and right. I do own an Airbnb, but a friend of mine who is born for that kind of hospitality runs it for me. Where do I get the money to buy this Airbnb? From land flipping. Land flipping is my cash machine, and then I take the money from land flipping and roll it into other asset classes, right? So what else you can go? You can get into multifamily investing. Multifamily is about 3.2 million times more complicated than land flipping. So if you really want to create some brain damage, you really want to go create some risk, you really want to be having to like fly out to properties all the time, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into your own money in your deal. If all of a sudden there's a law change or something causes a bunch of people to move out and you don't have any more, and your property barely produces enough to pay the mortgage and things like that, then get into multifamily. If you don't want your hair to fall out, if you don't want to be to have that kind of wealth, then stick with land flipping, because there's no tenants, no toilets, no termites. You can obviously get into house wholesaling, but there's obviously millions of people fighting over these kind of properties. Everyone goes after the same mortgage delinquent properties. Everyone goes after the same high equity properties. Everyone goes after the same kind of lists, and everyone fights for those same properties. So if you want a hyper competitive environment, go into house wholesaling. If you want to get it, you can go into fix and flipping. Fix and flipping. If you want to deal with contractors, with tenants, with the city, with all kinds of violations and things like that, and surprises and stuff like that, believe me, I have 15 rental houses. I rehab them. One of them, we realized that the bathtub was not connected to plumbing, And instead, there was a hole in the foundation and the water would simply go into the dirt. And people for decades have been taking showers and that kind of thing. All right. So now talking about an extra $10,000 plumbing fee by just having to dig out there and connecting that bathtub to a proper plumbing, that was not expected. So if you want those kind of headaches, do fix and flipping. But if you want a simple, repeatable, predictable business that you can run from home, without seeing the properties, without necessarily talking to many sellers, you're going to talk to some sellers, right? Told you all week long, I'm not going to bullshit you. So you're going to talk to some sellers, but you might talk to 20% of the sellers. 80% of them leave a message. 80% of them call in on a call. You either have a call center or voicemail or something set up. You identify who they are. You identify what property they have. You simply make them an offer and send that offer out by mail. And then you do follow-ups, and eventually, potentially, you talk to some of them to renegotiate. But some of them simply accept your offer, send it back by mail. You offer mail together. Courtney and Casey. Courtney, who was there with me on Tuesday, Thursday, and yesterday, her husband sometimes does videos in our Facebook group where he goes to the mailbox, he comes back with a stack of mail, and he looks through and he sees these acceptances, and he simply just opens the letter and pulls them up and reads them off, and he has acceptance after acceptance after acceptance, simply coming in the mail, without ever having talked to that seller. Like, if you want to have a simple business like that, where you don't change anything on the property, you don't deal with the competition, with much competition. Of course, are there other people doing this? Yes, I've been teaching this for 16 years. Of course, other people are doing this. But we also have 3,007 counties. Right? We also have about 3 million properties that the owners don't want anymore. Right? There's plenty of properties available, and my estimation is that there's probably 4,000 people that do this in any significant scale, meaning that they're doing more than 10 deals a year. So in other words, there's basically one person per county, or if people do multiple counties, you're dealing with 4 or 5 other competitors in one entire county. So that's what we do. That's what we're dealing with here. So the key that I want to make, the point that I want to make with that, if you want a simple, predictable land wholesale business where you can go, or land seller financing business. On Wednesday, we talked about how you can scale seller financing and how we have scaled seller financing in 3 years to $12 or $13 million in land notes and $71,000 a month, and how you can do the exact same thing. On Tuesday, we talked about those niches, how we can go into these specific niches. On Thursday, we talked about the excess proceeds, right? Where you can go, like we met Lori, who sent 500 letters out, got multiple deals. So if you want a strategy that with a significant lower amount of effort and marketing, you can get deals and make the same or more than others make in other real estate classes, then land is the right way. And then as you get more and more sophisticated, as you get more and more knowledgeable, you then use those monies that you make to then buy yourself a rental, buy yourself a fourplex, buy into an apartment complex syndication, buy into a self-storage facility, buy into those kind of things, and you build what's called generational wealth. You got that, guys? So today, what I want to make sure is that you can keep this business 100% simple. That's the key. Simple. The simplest way to do this business is go find those niches, go contact like RV lots, lakefront lots, mobile home lots, lots like large acreage in the more rural areas, properties in the path of growth, infill lots that you sell to the builders like we talked on Friday, and then go find them, contact them, create a follow-up strategy, follow our steps on that. Get those deals under contract, use the best realtors, use Facebook, use Zillow, use land.com to sell those properties, but ideally sell it to the neighbors, sell them to repeat buyers, sell them to your buyers list over time, and make money. And then over time, as you get better, you start getting into the more complex strategies that we're going to talk about right now. Okay, so everything I'm going to talk about right now is actually something that is a little bit more advanced Now, you can do that right away because when you work with us in our Inner Circle Partner Program, and if you haven't booked a call yet, go to landexpertcall.com and book a call right now. David, can you put the link into the thing? That would be great. But book a call at landexpertcall.com to talk to us. Because again, I want to, since yesterday, I want to congratulate Claudette, Marcel, Daniel, Marion, Jennifer, Cass, Joyce, Gary, Denzel, Starks, and Stephen, and actually in the last 5 minutes, somebody else joined us too. Now, not all of them joined us in the Inner Circle Partner Program. Several did, but several also joined them in our 12 months group coaching program. Several joined up in our 6 months, once a week group coaching program. A couple of them joined, one or two joined us in our home study course. But this is just an example, and we have many, many, many more people. Here's just the people that joined us yesterday, the day before yesterday. Here's the people that joined us the day before. So each day it's like 15, 20 people that have joined us in one of our programs. As a result, we're down to 3 of the bonus spots for the Inner Circle Partner Program. So make sure you guys book that, you pull the trigger quickly, and you get going. So with that said, what I'm going to start talking about today is something is a little bit more advanced kind of strategies. So if you end up being confused about them, just remember, you don't do them until you advance more. And also, you don't need to do them alone. Because when you work with us and you have a partner coach next to you that have done all of these that I'm about to explain multiple times, then they will guide you through them and you can follow their lead and do them together with that partner coach. So the first one I'm going to talk about is land splitting. But first, before I do that, I actually want to share my screen and want to share a few options that we're going to have here. So for example, the first one is land splitting and land subdividing. Right. The second one is we're going to skip because we already talked about that, like tax deeds and things like that. The third one, we're only going to talk about on the surface a little bit, land entitlements. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but not much. I'm going to focus mostly on number 1, number 4, and number 5 today, because otherwise we'll sit here for several hours. Right. So number 1, number 4, number 5, land splitting, triple close, and wraps. There's many other ways, but these are our funnest ways. So here's the thing. Let's talk about the land splitting, larger acreage. Okay, so let's take the following example here, and that is let me just cancel something here. So there's something on my screen that changes the color on my screen, and I need to quickly change it. Okay, there we go. So let's say you get a 40-acre parcel under contract. And let's say that parcel is like on a corner lot. So there's a road coming from the north to south and a road from the south to east. That's important because when you split properties, you always want to split them such that that whatever you create as a smaller parcel always has road access. Right? Is that good with you guys? Like keep that in mind. We always want to play this game ethically. We don't want to create landlocked properties. We don't want to create a problem for the next guy. Right. So now here's, so let's say this property is worth $50,000. Now, if you're brand new and you just want to keep things simple, what you do is you have it under contract for $10,000. You simply turn around and you sell it for cash. You simply turn around, sell it for $30,000 or $35,000. Right. That's all you need to do. Let me actually find the thing here. I want to change these numbers just slightly. Want to just change that slightly. I think that's a typo here. All right. I want to just there we go. There's the typo. I want to change this. I want to sell this for $35K, and you make a $25K profit. Okay, there we go. So there we go. That's my typo is finally fixed. So you sell it for cash for $35,000. Now think about this. If this property is worth $50,000 and on the market, on Zillow, on wherever it is, there's 5 other properties like that on the market for $50,000, $55,000, and yours is on the market for $35,000. Which one is going to sell fast? Yours, of course. But it's a given. Yours is going to sell right away. So yours sells in a matter of weeks. As a matter of fact, there's such a thing. Let me just quickly say that. As a matter of fact, there's such a thing like selling it too cheap. Because if you sell it too cheap, what might what might people think in the back of their mind when they see a property that's dirt cheap? Put it in the chat box. I see Carla, you're typing. Right? There's something wrong. Exactly. No value. It's got a problem. Flood zone. Exactly right. So there's a point that, like, if you don't want to put them on the market too cheap, you just want to put them on the market at a good discount. And what you can put into your listing is a little pro tip. Say something like, emergency sale, going out of the country, need to sell this property quickly. People don't need your real reason, and people don't need a good reason. They just need a reason to say, like, well, it's not because it's bad, it's because they have an emergency. Like for years, from 2009, 10, 11, 12, I seen an ad in the newspaper when I still had the actual paper newspaper that used to say every Sunday, it was like, mobile home needs to go, divorce forces sale. I think this guy sold 35 mobile houses through his divorce. Like, the point is, the divorce itself is a good enough reason that people say, oh yeah, the divorce makes sense. They're distressed. They need to get rid of it. And that's good enough. Now, obviously, don't sell all your properties with divorce forces sale, because it's kind of a lie. But basically say something like, fire sale, I need cash and I need to sell this property quickly. All right. Isn't that true? Who needs cash? Right? We all need cash, right? So therefore, you said something that's truthful, and at the same time, you have a good kind of thing. Is that a good little tip here? So, okay, so don't sell it too cheap, and if you do sell it really cheap, put up a little reason for it. Okay, so now the next thing is sell a property for cash, and that's option number one. That would be your standard option if you're doing this business, if you're just starting this business and you haven't really done anything before, and you don't want to get deeper into the subject matter yet. You just want to do a quick wholesale. And that's often what happens. Our students start with wholesaling. They're just like, yeah, I'm leaving some money on the table, but I just want to go split. I just want to go sell it. The second option, though, is a better option for if you're willing to wait a little bit, and if you're willing to get a little bit more involved, and but not heavily involved, just a little bit more involved, and make potentially up to 4 times as much money. Anyone wants to 4x your profits? Like, okay, let me show you how. So first, you get the same 5 acres, the same 40 acres, you get them under contract. Okay, that's the kind of, so option one, you sell it for cash, you have a contract price, sale price 25, profit $25,000. Good. Option two, now look at my Picasso-like drawing. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't it gorgeous? Look at that. That could be in the Louvre here hanging, or it could be in the Museum of Modern Art. And what it represents is the vertical lines is a road, the horizontal lines is another road, and that square in the middle is actually the property. Okay, so if you had, that's the 40-acre parcel. It's a corner lot on 2 roads. So what you want to do in the case like that is you want to split it into something like this. The top half as a 20-acre parcel, and then the bottom half along this road, you split it into 5, 5, 5, 5, into 4 5-acre parcels. So you did what I like to call a 5 split. And if you have a 5 split, right? Then if you have a 5 split, now what you do is you sell the 20 acres for cash. And with the 20 acres cash, you recoup all the money you have in the deal, and you walk away with some cash profit. But here's one of the things. In particularly outside of larger cities, there's a rule of thumb. And the rule of thumb is such that the larger the property, the lower the price per acre. And the smaller the property, the larger the price per acre. Because just think about it logically. If you have 40 acres, and Krista is asking, selling too cheap would affect other comps too, right? Yes, it would, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're really off and all the other ones do sell for 50 eventually, then yours will be looked at as an anomaly and kind of kicked out from the comps, and the market price still stays at $50,000. So it doesn't really change it unless you go flood the market with $35,000 properties, then you actually bring the market value down in the area. That's true. But so let's go back into that. So if you have a 40-acre parcel, and you're willing to pay, and let's say that parcel is worth $50,000, then is there really a difference between 40 acres and 45 acres. Kind of the same, right? The difference between 80 and 100 acres is not 25% more. It's just, it's a big chunk of land. And it's almost the same between 80 and 100 acres. So as you go, as soon as you're kind of like at the point of it's a big chunk of land, anything above that doesn't proportionally increase the value. So if you go from 40 acres to 80 acres, it doesn't double the value. It probably takes it 1.5 times up. So if 40 acres are worth 50 grand, 80 acres might be worth 75,000, not 100,000. But at the same thing happens reverse when you go smaller. If you go from 40 acres to 20 acres, it goes from 50 to something like 35 or $40,000, because 20 acres is still 20 football fields worth of land. So that's the kind of concept that we're using here to actually take advantage of and actually make this work. Because here's the thing: what happens now is when we have these 20 acres, we sell it for cash. Now we own, and we sell it for cash, and we sell it for more than we bought the 40 acres. So we're selling, we're getting our $10,000 back. We're making a cash profit that we put in our pocket. And now we own 4 5-acre parcels free and clear. And then what we do is we can sell those 4 5-acre parcels for seller financing with a down payment and monthly cash flow. And as a result, in this strategy, we create cash in our pocket, down payment, which is more cash in our pocket, and cash flow. Who likes that? That's a beautiful combination of things where you actually create both in one kind of situation. So let's look at the numbers. So again, the 40 acres is worth 50. The purchase price is 10. Now you take the 20 acres and let's say you sell that for 30K. It's worth 35 to 40, but so for 30K, which means you get the 10K back and you have $20,000 cash profit in your pocket. Then what you do is you sell each of the 5 acres like for $15,000 each. Because again, the smaller it gets, the higher the price per acre. And plus with seller financing, you don't have to discount them. It's seller financing. The deal is in the financing. It's in the low down and low monthly payment. The reason why builders don't have to discount their houses is because you can buy a house with a small down payment and monthly payments. If the builders would have to sell every house for cash, they would have to drop the prices. Because not everyone has. Most people don't have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for a house, right? So it's the same thing here. So we can sell each of these 5 acres for $15,000 with $3,000 down, 15% interest, and on a loan of $12,000 and $285 a month for 5 years. Which means if we do that 4 times, it's 280 times 4 is $1,140 a month in pure profit cash flow. You following me? Anyone follow me so far? Everyone's not following me. Okay. So the total profit, let's look at that. Total profit on the deal is the purchase price is $10,000. In this case, you do have to buy that property. But again, if you're within our Inner Circle Partner Program, you want to do a transaction like that, and you don't have the $10,000 to buy for that property or whatever that property might cost, then you simply reach out to us. If you bring me a deal like that, I will personally partner with you and provide you with the 10 grand in this example to buy that deal, provide you with any kind of additional money we need to actually split the lot, and we do that deal together, right? Or we will provide you with an entire pool of potential funders, and then you can pick your potential a person that gives you the money for it, right? That's what we do in the Inner Circle Partner Program. So in this case, you don't need the $10,000. But you need to find it. And again, we have all the funding resources in the world. So therefore, if this case, you need to come up with $10,000. Again, so perhaps you can send the details to David, Todd, and David can take a look at it. But again, we only partner with people in our program. So Todd, if you're in our program, great. If you're not, you got to enroll in one of our programs. Because what I find is that if I partner with, and I've tried that in the past, if I partner with people not in our program, they don't know what we're looking for. They don't know how to get those deals properly under contract. They don't know what they're not experienced. They're not properly trained up. So they're bringing us a lot of deals that we have to say no to. So therefore, as a result, we only partner with the students that are in our program. Okay, hope that makes sense. So with that said, now purchase price is $10,000. So you're out $10,000, whether it's your money or somebody else's money. And then what happens now when you sell the 20K for 30K, the 20 acres for 30K, that's cash that comes in. Then you get $12,000 in down payment on 5 lots. So 4 times $3,000, right? And then you get the loan payments on the remaining on the loans is it was including interest over 5 years is $68,525.20. $68,525.20 in loan payments over 5 years. So the total you receive is $110,515.20 minus the $10,000 you actually spend on the property, which means your net profit is now $100,515.20 technically. That's 1,005% ROI. Anyone okay? And not only that, but you have $32,000 worth of cash profits in your pocket at the time of the sale. Can I hear a heck meow or a heck yes? Right? That would be fantastic. Somebody gave me a heck meow the other day. So that's beautiful, isn't it? So this is, by the way, you can do these kind of deals all day long. Now, what does it take to split a lot like that? This is where it gets interesting. Many states have a set of rules for the cities and a different set of rules for rural areas. And often the rules in the rural areas are way, way easier than in the cities. So you don't necessarily want to do that in the city because they have to go to the city council and the planning department and all this kind of stuff. This is a strategy you want to do in the rural areas. And what is there an abundance of in the rural areas? 40-acre parcels. And they're dirt cheap, pun intended. Right? They are dirt cheap. There's actually lots of areas, Arizona, New Mexico, California, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, all of these places, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Arkansas, even in Wisconsin, everywhere, there's lots and lots of areas where you can get a 40-acre parcel for where 40-acre parcels are worth $50,000 to $100,000. Right? Absolutely, you can get those kind of deals. This is not some artificial kind of low price deal and so on. If you live in Manhattan, you can't believe that. If you live in Manhattan, you're like, what are you talking about? 40 acres for $50,000? I'm paying $10 million for the airspace rights over a building here. What? That's not even real estate. So you got to separate yourself from that and understand that one reason why this works so dramatically well in the United States is that it's such a big country. Such a big spread out country with land everywhere and people wanting to own that land. And many big, large, 500,000, 250,000, 1 million, 2 million cities spread around all the entire United States. Right? So you got to keep that in mind. That's one of the reasons why this works. Upstate to New York, absolutely, Jeffrey. It works up there too. Right? So you can do these deals. And the beauty of that is that in those more rural areas, all it often takes is the following: an application to the county with a $300 to $400 fee, perhaps a surveyor that surveys the land that might cost you an extra $1,000 or $2,000 to do. In some states, it doesn't even require that. All you need to do is provide the county with the new legal descriptions for these areas. And let me give you a trick. If you have a property like the one we just shared here, a property like this, and you have a legal description, what is the legal description of the top 20 acres here? It's the north half of whatever the prior legal description was. You guys get that? What is this one down here? It's the west half of the southwest quarter of whatever the prior legal description was. This is the east half of the southwest quarter of whatever the prior legal description was. This is the west half of the southeast quarter of whatever the prior legal description was. And this is the east half of the southeast quarter of whatever the prior legal description was. By simply giving those kind of instructions, you just avoided having to have a survey and you have a fully legal, proper legal description. We have done this 100 times, guys. Like, perhaps not 100 times, but many, many times. Are these some pretty good hacks? Guys, now, in Texas, you might have to do a survey because they are crazy in Texas and they want to do surveys all the time anyway. But outside of Texas, this strategy could actually work if you have a really good, if it's a square kind of lot. If it's not a squared lot, you might have to spend the money on their thing. But is it a problem? If I'm about to make $100,000 profit, is it a problem if I in addition to the $10,000 acquisition cost, have an extra $2,000 for a survey? No, it's not a problem. But again, remember what I said earlier. This is just a tad more advanced. You don't have to do this right at the beginning. You simply could wholesale that property, make $25,000, walk away. Do it again, make another 25 grand, walk away. Do it again, walk another 25 grand. And once you're really comfortable with all the rules around it, then you do one of these land splits. Or if you're the Inner Circle Partner Program and you're ambitious, you say, if the first deal comes across like this, you tell your partner coach, or your partner coach might tell you, it's like, hey, listen, we can split this thing, we can make XYZ, and then you guys do that and you do that together. Absolutely. You can 100% do that. Our partner coaches are experts in all these kind of things. All right. So then the next thing I want to talk about, so far so good. You guys having a good time? Good stuff? Okay. So let's keep going. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you about is what we call is the following situation. So we talked a lot about seller financing. Right? We talked about this perfect situation where you have a property worth $50,000, you get under contract for $10,000, and instead of wholesaling, you actually sell it at close to full market value. Let's say you sell it at $50,000, but you go out in the market and you say, hey guys, you don't have to pay me $50,000. If you just give me a $10,000 or $12,000 down payment, then I will allow you to pay the rest of it in monthly payments over the next 15 years at $500 a month and so on and so forth. I remember that story I talked about the 16-year-old wanting a car. There's Uncle Bob has an old car in the garage, and Uncle Bob says, yeah, you can have my car, but if you give me a down payment and then you pay me monthly until the car is paid off. Right? That's the kind of thing that we want to do. Well, what if the following scenario happens? What if you have a property that's worth $100,000? And you can get it for $40,000. And let's say there's $2,000 in closing costs. So you have a total purchase price of $42,000, but the property is $100,000. So you go out on the market and you can sell that thing all day long for $65,000, and people are going to give you cash, and you walk away with whatever, a $20-something thousand profit. Well, what if you want to maximize the profit on that thing and you say, like, you know what? I'm going to put it out at 100 grand. And I'm going to ask for somebody to give me a down payment on it and monthly payments. But every single person that comes forward is only offering you something like a $20,000 down payment. You're going to understand we have a problem. We have a problem. And what is the problem? This is the problem. I need $42,000 to buy this property, right? I need this underlined amount to buy the property. But I'm only receiving this amount as a down payment. So it does not work because I am short. The down payment is not enough to pay for the purchase price and the closing cost of this property. So obviously one solution is to actually go and take $22,000 out of your own pocket, cover the difference, and then sell the property, right? Because at the end of the day, how are the terms on this kind of deal? Let me see, like I'm going to share with you in a second right now, how the deal works here. Like, there's no thing for that. But here's how you want to sell it. Because you're going to sell it, let's say for $980 a month, with 12% interest for 18 years. So if you have $22,000 available to you that you can put into this, is it a good return to get close to $1,000 a month in cash flow on a $22,000 investment? The answer is yes. That's yes. Think about that. Let me pull up my calculator here. And that's basically, if I do 980 times 12, I'm receiving $11,760 in loan payments every single year on a $22,000 investment. That's a 53% return on my investment. That means in about 20 months, 21 months, I have all my $22,000 back again. So if somebody, if I can invest somewhere $22,000 and in 21 months I got all my money back, but then I continue to receive $1,000 a month for the next 16 years, sign me up. You guys get this, right? Who gets this? Cass, you're good on this? Yeah, you got it. Like, good. So Ruby, you're good? Yes. Yeah, like it makes sense, of course, right? So this is meow is Timmy. There we go. Yes, of course. The problem is many people don't have $22,000 sitting in the bank extra for that kind of a deal. And what happens if you do one deal? What if you do a second deal? You need a similar deal. You need another 20 grand and you need another 20 grand. If you do 10 deals like that, you need $200,000 in cash to float those kind of notes. And at some point of time, you're going to run out of money to float these deals. Make sense? So here's the thing. Well, maybe you get lucky and have to take the property back, says Kaz. Yes, that's true. Maybe you get lucky because what happens if you take the property back? You foreclose on it, you sell it again, and you get another $20,000 as a down payment, in which case you have all your money back. Yes, that is actually in this case, for us, it would be, for us lenders, it would be, or investors would be the best case scenario. Obviously, that's not what we want to do because we want our buyers to be happy and the thing. But financially speaking, absolutely, you're 100% right. It's the best scenario that could happen. So here's another solution. And here's how we came up with it. We had coaching students in Inner Circle Partner students, or before we had the Inner Circle Partner program, students did exactly that. They enjoyed our program. They got the first deal. It's a $100,000 property. They got under contract for 40 grand. They know closing cost is 2 grand. They put it up on the market, and all they're getting is offers where people say $20,000. I give you a $20,000 down payment, and they're like they're like this exact scenario. Basically, this exact scenario came up, and they did not have the extra $22,000 to make the deal work. So we said, okay, so what can we do? Well, here's what we can do. We can actually, instead of us just so far the transaction is just between the seller, us, and the buyer. What if we add an additional party to the transaction? And again, this is a little bit more, and Mark, you're correct. Realistically speaking, most buyers who put $20,000 down are not likely to default on the loan. Yes, 100%. I mean, I can count the defaults of that kind of deals on my on one hand after it went to the wood chopper. Like basically not in 5 hands. I probably had 2 or 3 loans in that category ever foreclose on that we had to foreclose out of thousands of deals that we have done. 100% correct. So transactional funding does not help us here because we don't need the money just for a day. We need the money for 20 months, for 21 months until plus some interest, probably for more than that. We need the money for 2 years. So that doesn't help us. So what can we do? We add a note buyer to this because what we were doing here when we're selling this for $100,000 and we're getting a $20,000 down payment, essentially we're creating an $80,000 note. You guys following me on this? Yes? Hopefully you do. We're creating an $80,000 note. Why can't we just sell that note the same day that we create it? So in this case, what we're essentially creating, we're buying the property, we're selling the property with seller financing, we are creating the note, and we're selling the note all the same day. And if you do that all the same day, now this is one of the more complicated things that I'm sharing with you, but it's been done hundreds and hundreds of times in our coaching community, led by our master coaches, by our partner coaches. So if you come and work with us, that's the kind of stuff. When you have a deal that otherwise wouldn't work, we'll make it work. That's an example for the kind of creativity that we show here that helps you, that ends up making you money. So in this particular scenario, here's how it works. Right? Transaction one, you buy the property for $40,000 plus $2,000 in closing costs for $42,000. Then you sell the property for $100,000, and even though the offer is not enough to pay the seller, you say yes. You say yes. So you accept it, and you create an $80,000 note with $960 a month in payments, and at 12% interest for 18 years. And then the gap of $22,000 that obviously exists is now happening. There's still a gap between this, but what happens is you sell the $80,000 note, and perhaps because it's a brand new note, you have to sell it at a slight discount. So the investors out there are not going to give you $80,000 for a note. They might only give you $70,000 for a note. So they pay you $70,000, and then you use the $70,000 to cover the gap, and you receive $48,000 in profits from that deal, cash in the bank on a deal that you didn't even think would work before. So let's look at the process flow here. Transaction one, the seller signs all the selling documents. You sign all the buying documents because you're buying this property for $40,000 plus $2,000 in closing costs. Transaction two, you sign the selling docs, and the end buyer signs the buying docs and the note. The end buyer also wires in $20,000 plus some closing costs or so. And then the third transaction, you sign the document where you're selling the note selling docs, and the note buyer signs the note buying docs. So that's from a paperwork point of view what happens. So let's look at what happens from a money flow kind of point of view. And from a money flow point of view, the company sends documents to all parties for signature. You do not have to show up at the title company. It's very possible that this property is in Texas, the seller's in New York, the buyer is in California, and you are in Chicago. Right? So yes, our contract is an assignable contract, correct. It is, but we're not assigning it in this case. We're double, triple closing on it. So everyone signs and sends the documents back. Right? Property buyers, now the property buyer now wires $20,000 as a down payment to the title company. The note buyer wires $70,000 to buy the $80,000 notes, also to the title company. The title company now sits on $90,000 cash on the property. Right? $90,000 cash on the property. The title company now wires $40,000 to the seller. Given that I had to do 3 transactions, the title company might keep something like $5,000 for all their work, and they send $45,000 directly to you. And then it sets up the loan servicing for the note buyer, right? And you just made $45,000 cash on a deal that didn't even look like it worked. Carl, I'll answer your question in a second, but first let me finalize this here. You guys, whose mind is blown right now that you can actually walk away with $45,000 on a deal like that in spite of it initially not looking like it even worked? Give me a heck yes. Guys, stop thinking that we're teaching you how to do, that we only teach you how to do $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 wholesale deals. Stop thinking that we're only going to teach you some seller financing deals. We can teach you any kind of deals that you want to do. We have 23 years worth of experience of doing these deals. We have done this, and this is now creative finance, guys. This is now creative structuring. What I'm showing you guys that is you're working with the Harvard of land flipping, with the best of the best of the best of the best. So if you look at this, so again, book a call at Land Expert Call to talk to us about this. Because look at this, cases where you don't need where you need outside help. You don't want cash flow, but cash, you can sell the note to a note buyer. You need to bring cash at closing, transactional funding. You need it, the down payment is not enough, do a triple close. You want to subdivide or develop a lot, investors that can bring cash. And we have several developer partners that we can put you together if you're in the Inner Circle Partner Program that can actually help you develop those properties. You have a probate situation, you need a good probate attorney. when you partner with us in the Inner Circle Partner Program, all of this is taken care of, right? So let me know, actually, and that's one of the things I wanted to make sure you guys really fully understand here. So one of the things I want to do is I want to just quickly walk you through just last chance. Like this is like the next, I still want to show you afterwards one more area, and this is how to do a wrap. But here, the wrap is a strategy where you go and you actually buy the property with seller financing and you sell it with seller financing at a higher price with a higher monthly payment. So you pay the seller $200 a month, and you receive from the buyer $500 a month in the program a month, and you keep the difference, which is $300 a month. I'll share that with you in a second. But before I want to quickly share with you. Let me see here. I want to share with you the where is it? I want to share with you exactly again one more time what is included in our program. So who wants to be one of our millionaires, guys? Who wants to be one of our millionaires? Give me a heck yes, and book that call. If you haven't booked that call yet, book that call at Land Expert Call. Here's the thing. Right now, you work 50 hours a week. You make decent money, but you're trading your life for it. You keep grinding. You keep hoping. Keep telling your day someday. Well, you know what? Someday should be today. Someday should be like this is your opportunity, because this is the inner circle is going to go away. Like we want to show you, we cracked the work code with land. Land equals freedom. Right? We went from 0 to $1 million in 18 months. We retired my dad in 6 months of this business and 5 years early. Right? Never missed a school event for my daughter. The reason why we're doing this tonight and not this morning is because one of the graduation requirements for my daughter who's in high school is that she does a speech, a 10-minute speech in front of the entire high school. This was this morning. So we rescheduled today's session because family comes first, guys. Right? I hope you understand. I hope you're okay with that. I hope you respect that. Right? Family comes first. So never missed a school event for my daughter. We spent 3 months a year traveling around the world, and you can do the same thing. You're not stuck because you're not smart enough. You're not stuck because you don't work hard enough. You're stuck because we're trying to do this alone, and as a result, you have been giving up and doing the wrong things. And most programs are not just designed to give you information, not just to turn into a deal maker. But our Inner Circle Partner Program is designed for true partnership success. It's your opportunity to be a true partner with one of our top 1% land investors in this country. Here's a list of here's a picture of all our partner coaches. Right, how many do we see here? 5. It's 11 partner coaches that we have that you can work with. Right? The magic happens in the intersection between you and them. So here's the thing. The important part of the thing is that we are retiring the Inner Circle Partner Program. This is your last chance to be part of this program in a current capacity, in the current format, at the current price. Right? If we have it available next year, it'll be much, much more, and it'll be different. But here's the thing. Here's exactly how it works. So what we do is we team you up. On day 1, you match with a partner coach, and you met already 6 or 7 of my partner coaches. You met Courtney. You met Zernke or John. You met Aaron. You met, who else did you meet? You met Michelle. You met Russell, right? That's 5 of them. There's 6 more than that. And what you do is from day 1, you start working. How do you become a student, Eric? You book a call at Land Expert Call. That's what it takes. If you want to become a student of us, you go book a call at Land Expert Call and talk to our team about which program is the right program for you. Simply do that right now. So you work on deals right away. You have more one-on-ones that you can ever handle. Then on top of it, since we are usually a direct mail or direct response marketing program, basically you contact these owners that I mentioned. There's 60 million pieces of land in private ownership in the United States. At any given time, 5% of them don't want their land anymore. That makes it 3 million pieces of land that the owners just simply don't want anymore. Many have inherited them. Many have gotten them through divorces. Many have gotten them from their parents. Many have gotten them in the family for many years. Many have owned them for 30 years. They just don't want to keep paying property taxes anymore. They're not doing anything with them. They don't want to keep having to mow the lawn. They just want to get rid of them. And many of them are willing to give them up for pennies on the dollar. So sometimes they're about to go for auction. We talked about that on Monday and on Thursday with the excess proceeds. Some of my favorite strategies. You can't necessarily do them all day long, but all year long, but it's a great strategy to do here in between and good for 10 to 15 deals all year long. We made $150,000 on some of these deals. But again, all you do is you sell us. We are actually going to. So when we know you're going to work with your partner coach on selecting the areas, selecting the kind of properties you want to go after, and then you simply let us know which areas, what method you want, and we will pay for your first 3,500 leads. And again, for the next 3 people to enroll, we're actually going to pay for the first 5,000 leads, and we're going to pay your mailing cost, your full-blown marketing cost for that. And on Thursday, we showed you, or on Saturday, we did a reverse engineering of a $500,000 a year. And we showed you that if you have the right areas, if you have the right people, if you have the right follow-up system, then for every 1,500 to 2,000 letters, you can get a deal. So if we pay for the first 5,000 letters, that is 2.5 deals on average, between 2.5 and 3 deals. And each deal is $15,000. That means that this potentially could already generate $30,000 to $50,000 for you. Now, that's not a promise. Obviously, you got to pick their areas right. You got to do the proper follow-up, but that's what you're working on with your partner coach in the first place. Okay. So then on top of it, as I already mentioned, you come across a deal like the triple close deal. You come across a deal like this, the land split deal, that where you need $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $60,000, $100,000, whatever is the number that you might need to buy a piece of land and then split it. Like if the deal qualified, we will absolutely guarantee to fund that kind of deal. Claudette, perhaps if you're not finding any deals in Texas, then you got to go into these programs and you got to really study how to find them. You really work with your coach. If you're in coaching, reach out to your coach. But probably if you're not, then book a call and let us help you because you're doing something wrong in the process, right? So what the point is, like, if you need money for a deal, transactional funding, for money to partner on the deal, money to split the deal and things like that, if the deal qualifies, we guarantee to get you the funding. So no scrambling for cash, no losing deals because you couldn't close. We got your back. Now, on top of it, really, all our network becomes your network. And this is like a crucial piece. Like you get to plug into the deepest, largest, and widest network of buyers, funding partners, note buyers, lenders, developers, attorneys, title companies. Remember, we've been doing this for 23 years. There's guys out there that come on the market like a year, 2 years ago. They claim they have done a bunch of deals. I know they've done 25 deals. I know they've done perhaps 50 deals. What do you rather work with? Somebody who has done 5,000 deals and whose team around him is doing 500 deals a year? And that where you get not just the support, but you actually get to link arms with a partner coach that is actively doing 30, 40, 50, 60 deals a year and has the entire backing of our entire organization? Or you want to go by some fly-by-night person that has done a few deals in a couple of years and just basically figured out one little niche? What if you come across a deal like that triple close deal that you don't know how to do? You know what other people tell you in this market? Oh, just skip that deal. It doesn't fit our box. And you would have been, if you follow that advice, you would have lost out of $45,000 in that process. But if you work with us, we're going to make those deals happen. We're going to actually go find the note buyer. You work with Lori, one of our partner coaches. She's our note expert. She's going to go sell you exactly how to structure that note for it to sell on the same day that you put the structure together for almost full market value. Like she's done that dozens of times with our coaching students, with our inner circle partner students. So we have the widest network in the world. And then, as I mentioned already, this is the only program that we offer where you can directly partner with myself. So you want to partner with me? You want to do a land entitlement, development opportunity, land split opportunity, a complex deals that requires really thousands of deals under your belt for experience? Simply, the deal qualifies, we partner on it, and we split the profits on that, of course. So then, of course, then on top of it, we created an AI tool, an AI Whisperer, which I demonstrated already. The AI Whisperer is a is basically an AI land coach, a voice-activated AI land coach that we have fed over 20,000 hours of coaching that knows that stuff as good as I do. And you can use that coach at 11 p.m. at night. Just pull it up, ask it a question, and I'll answer a question. On top of it, we trained it in my voice. So you actually get a virtual Jack there. You get a German accent all day long. Then on top of it, we have daily group coaching, which really means that you don't just get exposure to that one partner coach, but you get to see all our coaches. You get all partner coaches. Because they're all taking turns teaching these different classes. So once a week, we teach all about acquisition. Once a week is all about disposition. Once a week is about systems and scaling. Once a week it's micro strategies. Once a week it's just Q&A, but each session also is Q&A. So as a result, what happens is that as you plug into these sessions, you hear Courtney talk about her follow-up system. You hear Warren talk about how he is selling with seller financing. You hear Lori how to structure the best notes. You hear Aaron doing roll call, basically doing three-way calls and doing and literally calling buyers and sellers for you and closing deals for you on these sessions, giving you a masterclass in sales. It's just absolutely insane what is available there. And then on top of it, if you need immediate help for Monday to Friday, you can call our hotline, and an experienced land flipper will analyze the situation, give you the solution right there and then. And again, this is not base support. This is expert level additional support. Then you get our software, our Investment Dominator software, which has AI tools with it, AI research. You can have, I demonstrated that on Saturday. You can go get buyers lists right from it. You can get repeat buyers from it right away. You can get neighbor lists right away. You can find the most motivated properties. You can take the list that you want to send direct mail to it and run it to an AI solution that gives you the most motivated of all motivated sellers. It gives you the exact location of the property with comparables around it. So the comparable is now down in 2 minutes because you have the comparables right there. It has integration with mailing houses. There's integration with offers. It is a full-blown automation system for your entire business. And again, just look at this page with all these kind of deals: 24K, 87K, 23K, 56K. 156K, 77, 41, 43, 23 to 30, 90 to 30, 22, 27. Brad has 21 deals under contract. Again, at the end, you get a certificate, of course, and we also have these 4 bonuses. And again, the first people to enroll get a free piece of land. Now that is now down to, I think it was already almost gone, and I pulled another couple of pieces of land out of my inventory, and I added a couple, so now it's down to 3 people. The next 3 people can get a free piece of land. 3 people. I pulled out a couple more pieces of land, so I can guarantee that if you're one of the next 3 that joins our Inner Circle program, you still get a piece of land. If you join afterwards, no guarantees anymore, right? No guarantees anymore. So you get a free piece of land that literally we'll deed it in your name. And when you go sell it, you make thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, and you get to keep that property. So instead of me making that profit, I actually bought those properties and I'm giving one of them to you. So that really means that you have an automatic deal already. Your first deal is almost guaranteed. It basically is guaranteed if you pull the trigger fast enough, because we'll give it to you, you sell it, and you made money with land. How cool is that? And then on top of it, for the first 11 people also, again, I'll add a couple of people. So again, I should keep it simple. The next 3 people will get these bonuses. And the next these people, and then I'll answer your question, Carl, they also get, we extend your coaching, actually your partner coaching by an extra 6 months. In other words, why? So you have more time to ask questions, more time to close deals, more time to scale your business, more time to build real lasting wealth. And actually that I don't think we even offered that. We offered that once before, not to say. So then on top of it, again, the next 3 still get, instead of 3,500 leads, we actually pay for the marketing for 5,000 leads, right? We'll give you an extra 1,500 leads that we pay for. We pay for the mailing cost, the stamps, the entire effort to get these letters out. for you to get, and you get to do the deals out of it. And then again, we have multiple variations of this program. We have a version that is just group coaching for a full year. We have the different kind of variations. So it's me saying like, instead of me saying like, hey, this is this and this includes that and is that price, which all get confusing, just simply know that we have payment plans, that if you have one of our programs already and you want to upgrade, you can get a partial credit towards what you already paid. And the way to discuss these offers and see which one is the right one is by you going to landexpertcall.com and book a call. Now, also at the same time, we have very generous payment plans, but if for the Inner Circle Partner Program, which is offered for the very last time, really this year, this is it. We're not going to offer it probably most likely next year. We're retiring this program. So you, if you pay this program in full, you get an 18% discount, an 18% discount. So again, there's 10 reasons why we're literally standing in this industry as a category of one. There's really nobody compares to us. Why? Because we have the biggest network in land investing. We have the smartest coaches. We have all the direct access to all the funding. We teach strategies that nobody teaches. Triple closes, nobody teaches. Access proceeds, nobody teaches. Land wraps, nobody teaches. Like splitting land, nobody teaches. Like buying land at tax deed auctions and exactly how to do that, nobody teaches. Like these niches, like mobile home lots and like our RV lots and lakefront communities, nobody teaches. And we just taught a few of all the strategies that we give you to find the best deals, right? On top of it, you get the direct line to the Inner Circle coaching team. Again, we're proven at every level. We have taken people to $1 million a year. That means that, and again, I'm not claiming that everyone goes to $1 million. Actually, very few people do. It requires you to take this business fully seriously, go full out to make the $1 million a year. But if you are that person that wants to do that, then book a call and let us know. Because if we have taken people to $1 million, we know we can take you there too. Okay? Not everyone has that goal. Somebody's goal might be just doing 100 grand a year, 150 grand, 200 grand a year. Right? If that's your goal, we'll show you the exact path to get you there. But don't be surprised as all of a sudden, like Megan Autry, one of our former master coaches, she retired because she has 4 kids and homeschools them now. She tried that with her mom on her own. And as was predictable, life got in the way. They did the wrong things. They sent the wrong letter to the wrong people. They followed up the wrong way. They made the wrong offers. 10 months into it, nothing to show for. Finally, they're enrolled in our program, the equivalent of the Inner Circle Partner Program. Within 60 days, they had made their first $20,000. By 6 months, they had hit the $100,000. By the first year, they had hit their 3-year financial goal. That's what happens when you go full out. Right? So on top of it, you get our proprietary software plus lots of AI tools. We have more successful students than anyone in the industry by far, probably put together. We're proven in all markets. We have been doing this from 2002 on. So from 2002 to 2007 to the ups and downs, the sideways markets, the up markets, we can tell you, and it worked at every market, just slightly different. Every market is different. So we can always tell you exactly what to do in every market. And on top of it, we have the AI engine for the land business industry. Again, all of these things together, again, we on top of it even guarantee your success, which really means that for as long as you're willing to put one foot in front of the other, we will not give on you. We'll give up on you. We will not leave you on the side. There's roadkill. We will constantly reach out to you. We will constantly re-engage you, and we will bring you to success. If you want success, we'll work with you until you have deals. Right? So we're retiring the Inner Circle program. This is the last time. Again, we only have 3 bonus spots available. Make sure that you book that call right now. Right? Book that call right now. So do that right now. Do that right now. And do that right now. But before we finish up, I actually want to share with you how wraps work. Anyone wants to know how wraps work? Right? And in the meantime, there's a couple of questions. I want to make sure I answer Carl's question. Very diligently ask about the disclosures. Why should I use the disclosures in the generic seller form when I receive my contract? Carl, you don't use the disclosures when you buy. You use them when you sell. Okay? You use the disclosures when you sell. And part of the reason you asked a question earlier on that says our disclosures say that we have seen the land. Yes, technically that is not true. But here's the thing, there's several states out there, including Arizona, that if somebody buys a piece of land and they haven't seen the piece of land, they have a 6-month right of rescission. In other words, they buy the piece of land of you, they can come back 6 months later and cancel the sale. The way to get around that for you as the seller is to have them sign that they seen the property. Whether they've seen it or not is irrelevant. If they sign that they've seen the property, they're waiving their 6-month right of rescission. That's why you have that. Ask me how I learned that. By not having it, and somebody coming back to us 5.5 months later, after I already spent all the money that I made on that deal, wanting me to buy the property back. And I wasn't happy. So I went to my attorney. And my attorney said, dude, you need to have them sign that they have seen the property. And I was like, well, but they haven't seen it in some cases. Like, how do you know that? Just because you haven't shown it doesn't mean they haven't seen it. If they sign that they have seen it, then they have seen it. Ever since, we put that into the documents, right? Hope that makes sense. So you're looking at the documents from the wrong angle. You're actually using them when you're selling, and you're having the buyer sign that they have seen it, and that protects you. Again, our paperwork. Do you think we made some mistakes over 5,000 deals? 1 or 2, perhaps a few mistakes. Every time we made mistakes, we fixed them with better paperwork. We fixed them by spending thousands of dollars on attorneys. I mean, probably the paperwork that you get in this program probably cost me $75,000 over the years. All right? So do you want to spend $75,000 on these paperwork to make sure you have the best paperwork out there? Or you want to get into a program where you get the paperwork? That's what I'm saying, right? So this is some of the benefits. Like, entering a program like that, not only does it collapse your time, it also protects you from all kinds of stuff by having the right kind of documents, right? So make sure that you book a call at Land Expert Call right now, right? Make sure that you book a call at Land Expert Call. But now, let's actually talk about wraps and then wrap this up, right? But this is a wrap, guys. This is almost a wrap. We're almost done. The 8 days of Christmas are almost over. We're almost ready to wrap this up with one more subject matter, wraps, right? So this is like really kind of like a cheesy wordplay, but let's have some fun with this. Okay, so wraps. Okay, what do you guys see? Let me see. Yeah, you see the wraps. So here's what happens. When you do a wrap, what you're really doing is you're buying with seller financing at a lower price with a low monthly payment. And then you sell at the seller financing at a higher price with higher monthly payments. So let's do an example. So you buy a property for $60,000 with $5,000 down and $400 a month at 5% interest. Now here's a couple of the pro tips that I want to give you. When you do that, there's no homework today, Christopher. When you do that, then, because we're done, this is the last session of the 8 days of Christmas. What you want to do is you want to go to landflippingreplay.com, landflippingreplay.com, and watch the replays of all these sessions, right? And then, because they're going to go away probably the latest next week sometime, if that long. Probably by Monday, Tuesday next week, if that long, perhaps even by Sunday, I don't know. But I have like typically these replays will go. They'll go away. We usually just leave them a few days after the last session. I think I'm gonna leave them up to the weekend, and but I can't guarantee past the weekend. So make sure you watch those replays and then book a call. And book a call right away, because hey, lock in a spot, because there's only 3 spots with the bonuses available. So again, go buy with. So again, the example. So here's some pro tips. When you buy with seller financing, what you want to do is you want to delay when you give the down payment and delay when you start making the monthly payments. So if you basically say, you contractually say to somebody, okay, I'm going to buy this property for $60,000 from you with a $5,000 down payment and $400 a month. But I'm going to give you $100 right now, and I give you the $5,000 in 90 days. And then I want to start making the monthly payment. What did you just buy yourself? Time. Thank you, Cass. I'm sorry, read your lips there. I guess. Time. You bought yourself 90 days to go sell that property. And now you put it on the market and you sell it in 90 days. Within those 90 days, you sell it for $100,000 with $20,000 down and $900 a month at a 13% interest rate. So as a result, what happens? If you get the $20,000 before you have to send the $5,000 over, you now have $20,000 in your pocket, and you sent the seller $5,000 off the 15. You have $15,000 cash in the pocket, $15,000 cash profit. And now you're receiving $900 a month, and you're only giving the seller $400 a month, which means you have a net spread of $500 a month. You have a $500 a month spread. You're pay $400, receive $900. That's $500 a month in positive cash flow. Right? Boom. Right? Boom. How exciting is that? Right? That's what we're going to talk about. And when you do that, all of a sudden you created cash flow. And by the way, the nice part is you didn't even have to get that $100,000 property for 20, 30, 40 grand. You could have gotten it, you got it for $60,000. Heck, you could have gotten it for $70,000 or for $80,000. Because what matters is the down payment and the monthly payment. So this opens up this wrap strategy. If somebody says, no, I can't give you a 50% discount on the property, I can give you my $100,000 property, but the minimum I want is $70,000. Then you do that and you say, okay, I can do that. But here's the thing. I can give you $5,000 down, or perhaps you can negotiate just $1,000 down. But let's say $5,000 down. I'll pay that to you in 90 days. And then I'll make monthly payments of $400 a month at 5% interest for the next 18 years. And they're like, okay. And then you go market that property, sell it for 100 grand with 20 down and $900 a month. And you just created $500 in cash flow. Again, these are advanced strategies. This is creative financing. This is stuff that I don't expect you to know on day one. But all of these things together lead to generational wealth, right? You start with your Inner Circle Partner Land Program as your cash machine. From there, you do bigger and bigger deals until you have six-figure deals. Then from there, you take these deals and you do subdivisions. You do develop land deals. And then you take all that money and perhaps you invest it into some hard assets like rental properties, multifamily syndications, and overall buy yourself your own apartment complex, buy yourself your own commercial property, buy yourself your own self-storage property, buy yourself your own office building, whatever you want, so that you can then collect rent for the rest of your life and be financially, generationally independent. The foundation to all of this is your cash machine that we have been talking about right now. And for most people, the job is not a cash machine. The job pays the bills. Outside of the job, it's what we do from 8 to 5 is what pays the bills. What we do from 5 to 8 or from 5 to 10 p.m. and on nights and weekends, that's what makes us financially free, guys. And that's what you guys need to understand. There's three kinds of wealth, right? Cash flow, income statement wealth, which is ongoing cash flow, massive, and then active flipping business, and balance sheet wealth. Balance sheet wealth is assets that last forever and that bring you cash flow. And because of our land flipping business and the cash flow, the cash profits from the land flipping business and the cash flow from our land flipping business, we have been able to buy single family rentals, to buy Airbnbs, to own almost 1,000 apartment complex units, right? And you can do the same thing. And as a result, and for us, the spiritual wealth is what you are looking at. It's our coaching company. Our ability to leave a legacy in this world and create 1,000 millionaires. These are three levels of wealth. Some people help their churches and help their communities. We obviously do that too. There's a school for the poor in Honduras, Michelle's home country, that has our name all written all over it. Not that we asked for our name to be put on there, but they did. There's entire buildings with our names on there. And as a result, there's 700 kids that are studying bilingual and with a vocational school and getting pulled out of poverty. And we have the privilege of being one of their largest supporters. Right? In our community, we help with those kind of things. But I usually don't talk much about it because that is to be expected. If you have more money, you have the ability to do more good, guys. Right? You have the ability to do more good. Right? We sponsor underprivileged groups for college tuitions and things like that. There's some beautiful programs out there. I don't run them. What I realized is I'm good at these things. I'm good at making money and then using that money for good. And you can do the exact same thing. Now, remember, the importance of the context of the goal, and then we'll wrap up here, is here's the thing. This is you here. Again, another absolute beautiful Picasso-esque picture here. Look at that. If this is you, and this is an obstacle, and this is your goal, if your goal is so small that even at this size obstacle will overshadow your goal and you won't see it anymore. If you look at it, you don't see your goal anymore. The obstacle completely covers it. What if the obstacle is the exact same size, but the goal is this size? Your why, what you want to accomplish and why it is so freaking important and urgent for you is so big that that obstacle looks like a freaking pebble on the way. Right? Don't like this is so this is again, this is what you want to do. You want to have a big enough goal that it moves you to action even on days that you don't feel like it. Right? Again, this is your invitation to apply to one of our programs. Obviously, the Inner Circle Partner Program is our flagship program. There's only 3 bonus spots available. Book that call at landexpertcall.com. And then actually, I have one extra thing that I want to share that I want to ask you. I don't know where it is. Let me actually bring that up here. And that is, because we're wrapping up right now, is if you enjoyed these 8 days of Christmas, then please go down and whether you join us or not. One extra ask I have for you is if you could give us a 5-star review about us, about our teachings, about the creativity, about us as people, about our coaches, about have I bullshitted you or have I told you the truth? I hope you can all agree that I've told you the truth and I've showed you some really wonderful and amazing strategies to make money here. If you just quickly go to this QR code and leave us a positive 5-star review on the review page that you go there. Afterwards, we're going to send you an ebook that's called The Maverick's Guide to Tax Sales. It's a new ebook that we wrote that I wrote that you can get. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. But other than that, guys, landexpertcall.com is the way to go. So what I want to ask you guys before we wrap up here is again, here's a post. I want to read this off. It's a little in your face, but I hope you get it. I hope I've earned that by now to be a little bit in your face. And that is like, you're 43 and you're still planning your escape. You're 51, you're still waiting for the right time. You're 67, you're still getting ready. The climb you're refusing, other people finish it at 25. Your potential is dying of just fear, of just cowardice, of just not being willing to take that next step. Every morning you don't climb is another morning you decay. And decay smells like regret mixed with Netflix and excuses. Start climbing or start writing your obituary. Had potential. Use none of it. Right? To you, the one that's still thinking it's too late to succeed, right? When you sense you were made for more, but you refuse to climb, bitterness and regret will rot you from the inside. Ambition ignored becomes poison, leaving a husk where the king should be. Better to struggle forward than to decay in place. Guys, it's in your face, but it's so freaking true, isn't it? Isn't it, guys? So we all, like, we have 76-year-olds. They're pulling in 200 grand a year. We have college students. We have truck drivers. We have attorneys. We have church administrators. We have bartenders. We have car salesmen. We have university professors that retired early. We have truck drivers. I think I mentioned that already. All age groups, single women, married men, married women, couples, father, son, daughter, father, daughter, mother, son. Guys, in some cases, if your spouse is not supportive, the best way to get your spouse to be supportive is to bring that check home. Have that check arrived, and the entire family comes on board, guys. It comes on board. Like whatever we have all variations. We have people that have done this 100% on their own with zero spouse support. We have couples working together. We have entire families work together. We have multiple generations work together. And it doesn't matter. One person, part-time, 6 to 10 hours a week, can do this business. Got to be a little slower than somebody who does it full-time. That's obvious, right? But the key is, we are here ready to, with open arms, to help you become one of our next millionaires and get out of that debt race, that rat race, and that situation of whatever situation you might be in. All right, so with that said, guys, if you the QR code, okay, I'll put it up one more time. Somebody said, can you put it up one more time? I will do that. The QR code for the review, it's right here. But the most important link that you guys need to know is landexpertcall.com. This one is to give us a 5-star review. We would love that. If all the 150 people that are here right now could do that, that would be fantastic. And ideally 5-star reviews. If you're not happy, don't give us a review, right? But instead, email us at support@landprofitgenerator.com and let us know what you're not happy about, so we can improve this over time. But if you enjoyed this, if you liked it, if you learned something, give us a 5-star review over here, and that helps us to continue to do well out there. All right. With that said, guys, thank you very much. Book that call right now. See you soon. Again, there's 3 spots for the bonuses available. I cannot guarantee that I'll add any more. 3 of them. So if you're watching this as a replay, book or call, even if you think they might be gone, who knows? I might be adding some more, it might be not. But at this point, 3 spots with the bonuses are available. All right. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.